If you've seen the series Fauda, you're familiar with creator and actor Lior Raz. He's back as both creator and star in the Netflix thriller Hit and Run. It's a twisting tale of suspense, but does the story deliver on the goods? A happily married man's life is turned upside down when his wife is killed in a mysterious hit-and-run accident in Tel Aviv. Grief-stricken and confused, he searches for his wife's killers, who have fled to the U.S. With the help of an ex-lover, he uncovers disturbing truths about his beloved wife and the secrets she kept from him. Lior Raz stars as Segev, an Israeli tour guide with a military past. His wife Dani is a dancer, and as she's heading to the airport for an audition in New York, she's struck by a car that keeps going. Segev then begins to try to figure out how and why she was run down, leading him on an unexpected journey, much unlike Bilbo, that twists and turns and reveals all kinds of secrets. Now, some parts of this are very predictable and obvious, especially when it comes to the characters. There is instant suspicion around a few players and their motives, which then keeps them from being surprises when the reveal comes later on. But there are other surprises, though, as the events continue to unfold. While one aspect may be predictable, another within the same sequence isn't. The series contains a lot of flashbacks, and they're done really well, mostly occurring as Segev sees something that reminds him of his wife. The present then merges with the memories in a really effective and ingenious way, where Dani will appear as Segev is looking at something in the present. This allows him to remember while also keying us into past events. And the flashbacks are necessary to uncover pieces of the puzzle. Each lets us see a behavior or interaction that is important in discovering the truth. I really enjoyed the acting. Raz as Segev is kind of lumbering and brutish, and despite his tough exterior and even former military training, he still isn't always acting like a trained killer. The grief and even fear hold him back in ways that he doesn't totally realize. Naomi is extremely driven, and I especially appreciated a conversation that she has with her husband regarding her work. I mean, I can see where he's coming from, but her response was spot on. And I don't think she always displays the level of suspicion for her surroundings that she should, especially given the circumstances of the story that she's writing and her past work covering military operations. Now, while Dani is mostly seen in flashbacks, she obviously is integral to the story. It's her mystery that is being examined and then unfolded. And while she can be likable in moments, she becomes harder to fully sympathize with as her truth comes to light. There's still an element, though, despite this, that keeps her from being despicable. And Ron brings kind of a softer side to the cast. He's pretty likable, and despite looking like he's a washed-up has-been, he's got some cunning and deadly skills. I really liked his dynamic with Segev, at times being the incessant voice of reason to his grieving and determined friend. One member of the cast, Detective Newkirk, is that frustrated outsider. He knows there's more going on to what he sees or is made privy to, which then keeps him going to uncover the truth. Now, I do wish we'd get more on him, as I think he could be an ally to Segev if given the chance. And this is a good character study on secrets and loyalties. What is kept private to protect loved ones, but when the secrets will affect those you love, which do you choose as your priority? And we watch just about all the characters struggle with this. As the action transitions to New York, Segev is in this fish-out-of-water scenario, even though he does have contacts within the city. He's not completely isolated, but he is certainly not in his element. The times where he barges into a jail wanting to question a suspect, but is completely perplexed as to why he can't gain access, worked really well to show how driven he is, but also out of his element and in an environment that operates in a totally different way than he's used to. The pace for the series is slower and maybe even inconsistent in places. It's a slow driver that does increase in momentum the closer we get to the finale, but there are ups and downs when it came to the flow. It didn't really bother me because most times these were still providing good story details and character development, but I did notice the unevenness. The series balances the dramatic suspense and action pretty well. Now, this isn't really an action series, but there are certainly a good helping of sequences that are exciting and then violent. A ton of the suspense comes with Segev and Naomi digging into the mystery of Dani's life and her actions. They'll find clues, but then have to follow the rabbit trail to figure out what they mean. This is then combined with the actions that are taking place back in Israel with a character named Tali as she works the local angle with her police connections. So I was super excited to check this series out. As the first episode played, I was being sucked in, especially because there was an air of mystery and distrust that just emanated from several of the characters. Then as the next few episodes played out, things felt like they were being very obvious, like I mentioned before. And I was beginning to get bummed that I was able to predict many of the supposed secret roles or motivations. I kept watching, hoping that the story would then subvert my expectations. I wanted to be wrong, or at least caught off guard, anything to just keep this from being ultra predictable. Since this is a mystery and a thriller, I needed it to contain some portions that I just didn't see coming. Luckily, despite there being parts that I felt I had called from the beginning, the series spun around to provide a different context and outcome to parts that I didn't expect, and that was a good surprise. As the 9 episodes progress, the stakes and the tensions continue to ratchet up to a good but then frustrating cliffhanger. Some portions of the why have been revealed, but the drama and pursuit are far from over. Now, each episode is between 40 minutes and an hour, so there is a time investment if you decide to binge this. Overall, I ended up really enjoying the intrigue that the story creates. While some aspects are overt and obvious, there's still enough mystery present to keep us as an audience guessing. The plot is layered and the characters are engaging. I especially enjoyed the examination of secrets and loyalties within relationships. And despite the pace being uneven, Hit and Run delivers a mystery worthy of a binge session. There is sex, nudity, a bunch of profanity, and some very brutal violence. I give Season 1 of Hit and Run 4 out of 5 couches. When you watch mysteries like this, do you piece it out over time or do you try and binge it all in one day? I'm really curious to know how you watch. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.